Hello Internet, Idiot Craftman here. Are you wanting to get started on 3D printing but you're not exactly sure where you want to start or where you need to start? That's where I was less than a month ago. And I had a lot of questions about it, so I figured you might as well. First things first, you are going to want to get a 3D printer. I went with the Ender 3, just the standard one, and it's worked out great for me so far. I absolutely love this machine, and it is a workhorse. Definitely has its ups and downs, but for the most part, it's pretty friggin' cool. As you can see, I have other stuff attached to it here. I'll go over some of that in a little bit, but next thing that you're gonna need is you're gonna need to get some filament. Depending on what you want to do, you're going to want to look into different kinds of filament. I mostly got it for printing stuff like 3D dragons, things like that. So I went with a lot of multicolored PLA material. When you do get those, you need to make sure that you look for some very specific stuff. Like, you want to make sure that you know what temperature it needs to be at. That is very important. That will give you a lot of issues later on down the line. So make sure that you pay attention to that. The next biggest thing that you need to do is make sure that you get the right kind of heated bed for your 3D printer. I got the PEI sheet. I think that it works great. I know there's some printers out there that come with one already installed on it. That might be a good way for you to go. Maybe get yourself a little bit more of an upgraded printer than what I initially went with, and that might save you a little bit of a headache. The next most important thing, let me rephrase that. The next thing that I think has been the most important has been this camera right here. So you can see it right here, and there we go, that's a little bit better. So this is the Mint Ion Beagle V2, and this thing has made my life so much easier. It lets you control your prints from your phone or from your computer. There's a little app that you download for your phone, and it makes life a whole lot easier. You can start it, you can stop it, you can change the temperature, all kinds of stuff. And that's where I do all of my time lapse from. Now, I am currently still kind of getting things set up in my studio here, trying to figure out where I want them to be. So that's kind of just in a temporary spot while I run a few test prints. And that will be getting moved along with the printer probably after I make this video. So the next one should have everything in its final spot. I also ended up getting another printer. I don't think that camera is compatible, so make sure that you check on that. I do know that this is compatible with the Ender 3 series, so if you're looking at getting an Ender 3, absolutely get one of these. I think they're like 80 or 90 bucks, something like that, on Amazon. I'll post a link for it in the comments down below. Cannot recommend that thing enough. And last thing that I will recommend for you is get yourself an upgraded memory card. They use the micro SD. So I got a 128 gig memory card. And one of the reasons why you're gonna want this, especially if you end up picking one of these guys up, is that this records all your time lapse and all that stuff. Or it also gives you the option of doing just regular video and all kinds of different stuff. I prefer the time lapse. I think that's the coolest part about it, apart from obviously the remote operation. which I will show you guys a little bit of a demonstration on that. But definitely get one of these. Get one of these. Get yourself some filament and a machine. Last thing that I got, you can see right over here. I don't think it's necessarily too important, but I have noticed that it can improve your print quality, is a filament dehydrator. I'll have a link to that as well. You just put a spool in there, push the little button on the front, and it takes the moisture out of it. It'll help. You don't necessarily need to have one at the start, but it is good to have. So those are my main recommendations. At some point you're probably going to want to get like an extra filament roll holder. This is one that I just printed out. I found myself printing out a lot of stuff for these machines. Another thing that I printed off is just a little tool holder that sits right on top of the machine itself. You probably also noticed that I have lights on my machine right here. So that's going on both sides, and got that on Amazon too. It's pretty cool. I mostly got that to work in conjunction with the camera here, but the camera has nighttime settings. So if you want to show a full stretch of time, don't even worry about having lights on it. But if you want to have cool lighting, that's all on Amazon too. I got all of this stuff on Amazon, which from what I can tell is the cheapest place to buy most of this stuff. I'll have links down to everything below. They are affiliate links, so just keep that in mind. But pick yourself up a 3D printer and start printing some cool stuff. All right, thanks guys, see ya.